Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about Roseanne Barr, the comedian and actress whose hit ABC show Roseanne is making a return to television this week. After over 20 years off the air, most of Roseanne's original cast have decided to return for another season, including of course her beloved husband Dan, played by John Goodman, the legend. Dan and Roseanne played a special role in television in the early to mid-90s. They depicted the parents in an average working class family in middle America, in Illinois, where I was from. It was an interesting and more realistic take on the American sitcom, to say the least, and a hilarious laugh-out-loud riot, to say the best. So needless to say, I'm pretty excited to see what happens with the revival, and I'm even more excited to hear that Roseanne is pro-Trump now. I mean, I heard this before, of course, about the actress. She's always been pretty based on Twitter and has some pretty popular posts there, but what interests me is to find out Roseanne's new show is going to feature some pro-Trump politics. Her character is pro-Trump too. She was recently on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about things, and learning about all this piqued my interest. A lot. And before we get all pissy and start groaning because this was on Jimmy Kimmel, don't worry, Rosie puts him in his place. She calls him and the modern left out in this video coming up. It's a real delight. Let's go in and check it out.
Which I know, like, a lot of the television critics got very excited about this, the fact that Roseanne Connor is a Trump supporter on the show.
Well, she did vote for the president.
She voted for the president.
Yep, she did.
And she, and that is part of, I don't want to give anything away, but that's part of the dynamic.
So she's smart and loves our country then. Good to know. Well played.
Weren't you a friend of, like a good friend of Hillary Clinton's at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
You were.
Yeah.
And what happened that, now I know you're very, very
Why is he
down
asking
on
me
her.
this?
What happened?
Down on her.
Well,
You could barely hear it, but Rosie said under her breath, "Why is he asking me this? Downer." And this is where the interview starts to go south a bit, for Jimmy Kimmel at least.
I think you accused her of being a murderer on Twitter, didn't you?
I did not. Yeah.
Roseanne, you know I'm going to find that tweet in the next 40
deleted it,
seconds,
so
right?
God damn, Roseanne is fucking awesome. Yeah, fuck you, Jimmy Kimmel. Go cry about healthcare and other shit on your own time, and stop trying to give Roseanne the business here. You can't take her on, Jimmy. She's already beating you.
I had some disagreement with her foreign policy.
I see, with her foreign policy. And you like Trump?
Yeah,
foreign
she
policy?
had one.
There's not.
Did you agree with her foreign policy?
Listen, never mind her foreign policy. How about Captain Wacko we got running the country here? I mean, the foreign policy.
Captain Wacko? I wonder if Jimmy's talking about the Animaniacs. Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. Probably not. I think Kimmel is actually deflecting away from the Hillary question here by calling Trump crazy to play to his mindless liberal base, who will always give him an easy laugh for that.
I'm shocked because I know you were a very liberal, socially liberal person in general. I mean,
I'm still the same. You all moved.
we did.
You all went so far out, you lost everybody. I mean, seriously.
You're probably right, by the way.
A lot of your...
She's exactly right. Roseanne used to be a liberal show in the 90s, in fact. It wasn't actually considered conservative back then. But now, the left has gone so far to the extreme, the normal working-class blue-collar people don't even seem liberal to them anymore. Blue-collar meaning they're blue-voting Democrats, of course. At least they used to be. Now conservatives have widened their base to include lots of former Democrats, like this. Hell, Donald Trump himself used to be a Democrat, and I would guess he's kinda in the same boat as Roseanne here, and others. They didn't change. The Democrats and the politicians on the left did, when they went too extreme and started pushing this PC, SJW nonsense. And now conservatives are winning because we're awesome and we're open and more rational and far smarter than everyone else. And I'm ridiculously good looking. Another thing I just thought of here was this. Roseanne is sure cursing like a sailor, huh? I mean, that's fine. It's funny actually, but what struck me was all the bleeping of it, censoring it out. Isn't this show called Jimmy Kimmel Live? I guess calling it Jimmy Kimmel Recorded at 4 and airing at midnight pretending to be live didn't have as nice a ring to it.
I just want to say this, Jimmy. A lot of us, you know, no matter who we voted for, we don't want to see our president fail.
Right.
You know?
Right. I know.
Well put. This is great, and I really wish you would have left it here, but there is a little bit more after this. Before we get to that though, I'd like to reinforce this initial point first. We should all be rooting for the president, regardless of our differences, grievances, or preferences. We should all want our country to do good, and in turn, we should want success for the president, the leader of the country. This may seem like a given, but I think it needs to be said here and stressed overly, because the left and degenerate late-night hosts like Kimmel, they attack the president and the Americans who support him with so much vigor and hatred hatred and deception, one starts to wonder if they really care about this country at all. Seems like some just care more about making money, having power, and winning, over actually trying to make America great.
Because we don't want Pence.
And yet we've seen it over again.
You want Pence? You want Pence for the friggin' president?
No, I don't want him either.
Well, then zip that Uh-oh.
Now that's the Rosie we all know and love. I would have went without the Mike Pence dig in there, but it is just a joke. Good for a laugh, and it plays to the liberal biased audience there too. And finally someone told Jimmy to shut his fucking pie hole. I'm so sick of this smug bastard parading around like he's the supposed moral conscience of America. Fuck that. Jimmy's the guy who exploited his sick baby to try and get healthcare legislation to land in his party's favor. That is sick and reprehensible. You're the ones who are failing over and over again, Jimmy, not Trump. In fact, the Trump train has been working overtime from all the winning we've been doing. Day and night, 24/7, 365. I've been winning so much, I have to lose on purpose once in a while just so I remember what it feels like. But even then, it's not really the same.
But you did really hit upon something great, I think, in that you've got this dynamic that real people are really experiencing, where parts of their family are on one side and the other parts, and now it's not like we just kind of overlook it like we used to.
I love hearing Jimmy trying to imagine what real people are like. That's cute, Jimmy, but you're a little out of your depth, buddy. You've been detached from middle America for decades, unfortunately.
Well, I have 3 daughters.
Right, okay.
And they're all in their 40s, you know.
Right.
And so the one daughter, she just started weeping. And she's like, this is the end of our, you know, they're going to deport all of our gays and all this, you know.
That's crazy. I know people were upset and worried when Trump won, but this is so over the top. I guess I could see it since Roseanne's kids are likely to be California liberals, but damn, this is like that scene from American Horror Story where they were making fun of people's reactions to Trump's election. They were doing it as a parody, and Roseanne says she saw it in real life.
I said, just chill. Just chill, you know. Try to think positive for, like, why people wanted a change. And it's up to the people. Here's my 2 cents, damn it.
Okay.
People clearly wanted a change from the Democrat Party. That's why people didn't back Obama's successor, Hillary Clinton, who was also, in a way, President Bill Clinton's successor. The American people clearly rejected Democrats like the Obamas and Clintons, and opted for the better, smarter, more conservative choice of Trump, who's also very savage on Twitter, which is fun to watch.
It's up to us to make this government work, no matter who's president. It's up to us to do our jobs as citizens, and if we don't like something, you know, let them know you don't like it, and then you got another election in 2 years, get out there and vote. Change it if you don't like it.
That's very good. I mean, you can't argue with that.
Well said, Rosie. The more she speaks, the more I like her, I have to say. She's smart, cutting, well-spoken, and not afraid to speak her mind or offend people along the way. Couple that with her flair for comedy, and I think this new season of Roseanne has a good chance of being a hit, like the show was before. I know I'll be watching this week, and depending on the way it goes, I could even see us doing some reviews and videos about the politics in the episodes. Maybe a Roseanne Explained series is in No Bullshit's future. We'll have to wait and see how it goes this week. And bringing back this show onto television, this revival, it's a pretty funny move for a TV channel to make, especially for ABC. Them promoting a pro-Trump main character in this day and age is pretty unheard of, especially coming from the channel that canceled Tim Allen's Last Man Standing show just last year, which a lot of people thought it got canceled because it was so conservative. Sure, ABC denied canceling the show because of that, but why else would they cut down this show in its prime? Last Man Standing had 6 seasons and continued to have strong ratings. Not to mention it was one of the only shows on TV that appealed to a conservative audience.
You're not helping. I'm trying to teach him about patience here.
Well, then get to it.
I don't like being patient.
Nobody does. It's a learned skill. What do we call people that go willy-nilly through life just doing things because it feels good?
Democrats.
Attaboy.
With that said, perhaps Roseanne is here to pick up the torch Last Man left behind when it was canceled prematurely, and maybe if the fans keep speaking up for it, Last Man Standing could get a revival season 2, or season 7 I mean. I plan on watching both shows in the near future. Roseanne and Tim Allen are definitely our guys, so I recommend you guys show your support too, especially if you like TV and comedies and sitcoms like me. I grew up watching sitcoms in the 90s, so watching some of the new good ones now is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. What do you guys think? Is Roseanne's new revival season going to be any good? Or is this just another nostalgia grab for the studios? They're out of original ideas. And was seeing Rosie stand up to Jimmy Kimmel a riot and well-deserved and long overdue? And what do you guys think about ABC canceling Last Man Standing prematurely? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.